Hi, this is Christell Burley, and I am recording a mentor meeting that's hosted here at Helen Edwards to help promote new teachers and staff to our campus. Okay, so everyone signed in, right? No. Okay, well, then let me give you the sign-in sheet so you can sign in. There's snacks on the table. So basically what we're just going to go over is a couple things that should help you be successful in your classroom. And I know that since the school's already started, you've probably already started meeting with your mentors and have it all under control probably. So this is just to touch on some things. First we're going to start with a visual schedule, and sorry, but I don't even have one in here. I've been contemplating on what I want to do for a visual schedule, and with wall space so limited, sometimes I just don't know. But Anna had sent me one because she couldn't be here today about her visual schedule that she uses. It's under my, right here. And she kind of uses it, and she can edit it based off of how she likes for it to go. And keep going now. And she said they all say 9 o'clock, and so if you want, she can send this to you, or I can, because she sent it to me, and you can just change your time and post it somewhere. And so, like, that's my input. So what I thought about is the mentor teachers that are here, if you want to just kind of give us your idea of what you do, just really quick, you know. I know even just within my pod of 5, we're all different in different ways, and we all like different things. I probably wouldn't use wall space for a visual schedule. I would probably incorporate it into my morning meeting type thing and go over it day by day. But if you do have a child that really needs to see it, then he might have his own personal one or something like that. So who wants to go first? Okay.
I have one on my wall that, like, my cubbies are, like, I have 2 of those cubbies together, the big red tall shelves. And so mine goes all the way across. But then I also have a printout that we can take and actually flip through and say, oh, remember, this is where we are, this is where we're going. Most of the time the kids just play with it.
Do you have one for each child? Mm-hmm. That's just yours.
Yeah, that I have it in my, I have all of this stuff in my apron. And I pull it out and you'd be like, this is where we're going. Whoever at that moment needs it.
For the resource class, I use a small pocket chart, and I have something very similar to this. It just says ABCs. They're kind of cutesy, and it's someone's job each week to move the clip down, and it really reassures the kids a lot about what we're doing next. I've also helped make like a personal size where students could like put a character on the Velcro side of a clothespin, and they're responsible for moving their clip down through the day. And this is for them at their own desk.
I also use one in my classroom, and mine is actually on the wall. It's just like this, but like for kindergarten, I have it with our actual subject matters, writers workshop, etc. And I've done it 2 ways. We have an arrow that our teacher assistant helps move it down for what we're doing each time. Or what I did last year was actually have Velcro on the back of each one so the teacher assistant could get it, go take it and set it like on our door saying this is what we're doing at this time. So everyone knew it is time for calendar or things like that. But
I think in pre-K it's really important because they come in the door thinking it's toy time at 8 o'clock. And they need to see that toy time is not, you know, centers is not to the end of the day. So my visual schedule, and I do it magnetic, so I can do it on my board. I've also used it like on the door, and we remove it. When we've done it, it's gone. I've tried moving things, but they need to see that that's over and that's gone. And then it allows me, if I need to switch something, early release, change it. But it's real pictures of exactly my calendar, our lunch tray. We've added this year the morning announcements, so they know exactly we come back into the room. Math, our math, and then specials, and then I'll have, because it's kind of important to them to know, and we just moved the where we're going to go today, and they'll go look at that to see where they're going to go. And then morning stations, and I don't have everything in here, but it's the big clusters. Lunch, and then on this rest, and then on What's your behavior telling me you need? I'm said, and then we've got our recess and then our DLCs. We know which class we're going to, and then the center times at the end. And of course, they want to know, pack up and go home. This is kind of important when they want to look and when they see I'm gone visually off of the board. I've even thought about taking something black or an X and putting over it. We've already done all these. This is all we have left. And so it seems to really help. And being on magnets, it can travel. This year I haven't done it, but before for my kids that needed something like this, I've taken this and taken the old-timey photograph, 99-cent Walmart, or just a Dollar Tree photo book, and you just slide it in there, and you can put cards behind things. So when they were getting out early, or our schedule changes, or we're not going to something, you can easily be taken out. You can get one for $1, and you can just slide it. I don't have a kid that needs an individual one, but if they did, they kind of like having their own book.
Yeah.
And then it's in order. Hey kids, change the order. So, it's in order, and then I can quickly fix it if I need to. Okay, we've done this, and this, you can even clamp it. Okay, these things are already done. This is what we have left. So it's just something small I can go in the backpack if I need. But I haven't made one this year because I don't really have a kid that needs their own personal. But it's just an idea and a cheap way to do that.
Marley, do you want to share?
Mine was also across the magnetic board so that I could remove the pieces as the day went on. After the first quarter, very seldom did any of the kids ever need it after that. In fact, usually by Christmas, I had kind of taken it down unless I absolutely had one that just couldn't make it through his day without, and I say his because the last one was a his. And that just became his job every day, is as the day went through, he just went up there and took everything down. And it got to where he could just do it all by himself without any problem.
So, just when you're thinking about visual schedule, you can tie it all in. Like, I just thought about, I don't have wall space. Well, I do have that space. So I could do it magnetic. I would probably do like a teacher assistant, like Ashton said, and I would probably get a clothespin and put an arrow on it, and then just have my teacher assistant go and move it every time because I won't remember to do that. And that's part of these mentor meetings, is so that we can get together and kind of collaborate and talk, and you can take ideas from here and here and, all that good stuff. And then, of course, if you need the kid, or if you have the kid that needs that schedule, you obviously have people that you can go to, and they can help you with that. Any questions on visual schedules or any ideas that y'all have?
I'll just add that an uh-oh or a surprise face is also good to have on hand for the kids who might be upset that you're going to the cafeteria for a program. It's not on their schedule. So it's always good to have a little uh-oh face and explain, we have a change today, or a surprise.
And it's really nice, something that we did this year with these kind of cards, because that's kind of what I have, is we have program cards placed in there. So we go through and because we talk about our schedule every day and say, oh, there's going to be a program today, so we're going to the cafeteria early to listen to somebody special come talk to us during this time. So that's another option.
Also, I have it like my days of the week chart like that. I have Monday, the 2 places we're going. I have the pictures on there too. So they love that. Oh, we're going to see
That's all my
Kindergarten.
kinders have.
Or they cry when they're going to certain places. PE, I have one. If she sees his picture on there,
I have one verified
I
as a
know.
computer.
so
now
she does
both.
know. Yes, because the VLC.
Any other questions?
Just on the days of the week, it's just a real simple.
I do think that, even though, who am I to talk, but I think it's important that you have a visual schedule up. I will get to that goal. I will get it done. That's the first I can. By Friday. Just because it is important, and it does. It shouldn't drive you crazy when it gets like, well, it's Tuesday. Are we going to da-da-da-da-da? Are we going to da-da-da-da-da? And I'm like, so if I had that, I would not have to answer those questions, and I would be proactive teacher. So if you don't have one, be like me and get one. Classroom management. Everyone's different. Everyone rolls their own kind of way. I have a clip chart. I know the thoughts of it. But my clip chart is more of a positive for me. I'm always looking for the positive. It's very rare that you have to move your pen down, and it takes a lot.
But I'm one of those that I need that. There's a lot of positive incentives. My kids, every time that they get to pink, it's in their chart. Once the behavior chart in their folder is full for that month or 2 months or whatever it is, I count up the pinks. They have punch cards. It's actually in here. And however many pinks, let's say that Graham has 3, then he gets to punch 3. Once he fills this up, he gets to have lunch with me. So that's kind of like an incentive for them. I also do it on, at the end of the month, however many pinks, if you have at least 1 pink, you get treasure box. So it's a whole lot of more positive reinforcement. I need it for me because I'm pretty black and white. Like it is what it is. But there's more to it. It's not just an actual like, oh, you're on yellow, oh, you're on orange, you know, it's more of a let's move up, let's move up, let's move up. I actually had a little one today that got on yellow just because she could not be quiet to save her life. And she is she's amazing. She's been on pink like 8 times this year already. And she looked at me, she's like, I'm gonna work really hard to get on green. I'm like, you go girl, you know? And she did. I mean, she knew how to move herself back up in the behavior that was expected. So it's kind of just your preference. It's what I do. If you have questions about how I do it, feel free to come see me. All that kind of good stuff. Tiffany, what do you do?
Well, we have the rules of like Mr. Potato Head, looking eyes, and we go over it every greeting time. That way you'll hear us in the hallway like, quiet now. We're gonna adjust it from walking feet because I think that means stomping to quiet feet. But I have, for the ones that need more specific visuals of, and I have my rules up and we go over it in greeting time, but I have like sit in the chair, listening ear, like when I need to like get a kid's attention and be like, let's do this. And I mean, I let the kids play with it too. But I also have like more specific ones, like during centers or whatever we share. All of my kids get a happy face unless it's like they have to go to the office. Like, so I don't need something like that. But I do have, they all get a happy face. For the kids who have more behavioral issues, I have like a schedule where like, oh, it's kind of chunked. Oh, during greeting time, you did good. We get a happy face there. And we go over the schedule throughout the day. And they know we've discussed the behaviors that get which happy face or sad face.
I think with the classroom management, as long as you're consistent as your teacher and your expectations are clear, however you run your classroom and you feel confident in it and it's not like shaming children, I think it's okay. I mean, I think, you know, if I feel confident in something and I feel consistent and I feel good about it, if I'm questioned or if there's anything, then I can't second guess if I'm telling the truth and being myself. You know, and so you want your class to run in your comfort zone so that you feel good, so that you can promote them to be the best that they can be. So it's really just kind of your preference and how you do it. Yeah, Ashton, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, piggyback off of that, you might find that from one year to the next, your classes are gonna change and respond differently. I, just like Burley here, because we work together so closely on it, I'm a clip chart girl too. I'm not gonna lie. And because I need that, I need to see it. But my kids also need to see that I encourage, you can change your day. Your day can change. So I'm pro clip chart, I'm sorry, but I am. But I found out a couple of years ago, I had a class who that did not work. They did not respond to that at all. So I had to change and go to something like Class Dojo, which now I use it more than I use my clip chart because now it works better for me. So all that saying that just because you get so set on your clip chart works for you, next year with your next group, it may not work. And you may have to change your whole world. Because believe me, I had to do that. But there are different methods out there. So being open, that's a good thing to do.
And try, like, if you're having difficulties, like say you have a kid that just can't work, try something for like 10 days. If you like Class Dojo, if you're going to see if it works for you, don't just like after one day, be like, oh, it doesn't work, they won't listen, because they have to adapt to it as much as you do. So anything you try, you need an extended amount of time.
And sometimes you have to pick something totally different for one kid than you do
Yes.
with the whole rest of the class. It just depends on that kid.
Sam, you brought your paper, just go ahead. What do? Well, I use a lot of conscious discipline, parts of it, not all of it, and I do a lot of dancing when I'm teaching expectations through song and different things. But I think the main thing is every day we do our daily commitments. We call them our classroom expectations. I used to have these long, things that we're going to do, but we do this every day. We have looking at, and I have a huge poster of it, looking eyes, listening ears, walking feet, helpful hands, and a caring heart. And we talk about what all those things mean, what are the opposite, different things. Probably the best thing I've ever done, just because it's never worked for me in 28 years, is ditching the clip chart. Did not work for me, and usually didn't work. I'm not real consistent with moving up and down, and then I can't remember why I moved them, or I was not good at that. I was never successful at it. So I also a few years ago ditched the happy sad face chart. I don't do anything that goes home unless I tell the parents, unless you hear from me, I don't need anything. Everything's fine. If I need something, you'll get a note, or you'll know what's going on at school. Kind of got rid of a lot of the prizes and things because I want kids to do it because it's the right thing to do, and not because you're going to get something for it, because of the entitlement children that I want something, and the one fits when I get a smelly, and this year's really difficult with fits and things. But when we do have a celebration like today, we only had one small meltdown yesterday. Instead of 5 huge fits, we did an extra reset. So I do a whole lot of class, rewards, and things like that. I do have an note, which is, if anybody wants it, it's just something that if it's repeated and something, I have an and it's just like a checklist, and it just says, today was difficult in some ways, please discuss the choices. And then it says, we're all learning and growing together. Tomorrow can be a better day. And so it's not so, this, and this. So it kind of helps parents start to see a pattern of things. So we also do a lot of natural consequences. Oh, I'm sorry, your center's full. You didn't get to pick first. So books or Legos, books or Legos. So, a lot of natural consequences. Or you chose to throw blue chips, so, we're not going to get to play on this part of the playground now. That works a lot with the client. And then we also do a lot of apology of action. You break it, you fix it. You have to make it right, and you have to use your words to tell the person what they did and why you don't like it. So if someone calls you a name, you have to say something nice to that person. Someone yells at you, you give them a hug, whether they want it or not, or a fist bump. Some people are not ready to receive a hug, though. So you make fun of someone or their work, you tell them what you like about it. And if you push or hit a friend, you draw an I'm sorry picture during your center time, the whole center time. And that friend gets to tell them what they want you to draw. And they get pretty detailed. They'll say, I need you to draw this, this, and this. So they kind of,
They're all
Picasso.
Yeah.
So, and I kind of have a note that goes to parents talking about, the natural consequences and that we do disengaging stress, and we a lot of connecting, and we make daily commitments. The thing I'm going to add now is I'm going to section these off where they're going to come in every day. They're going to pick one thing that they feel like they need to work on that you're really having trouble with, and they'll clip their name to, and sometimes they may need a suggestion. You really need.
We're going to work on
You need to work on this one today. And then at the end of the day, you ask the child, how do you think you did on your commitment? You made a promise to me and to your friends. How do you think you did on your commitment today? Do you think you could have done better? No, some of us have done better. No, we're going to try this again tomorrow. So, but it's not a one size fits all. I have to figure out what works for every single child. Some of them just talking to them. I have to find out what works with every single kid. Some of them you can say, I'm going to call your mom. They're like, yeah, go ahead. Call her. Yeah, call her. She's not going to do anything. So, I just kind of finding out what works with different kids.
I will say on your, if you do the happy sad faces going home, to have maybe a key at the bottom, one is talking out of turn, and two, so you're not scribbling all over their folder, writing out these, because I know we had, years ago in SST, we had a teacher bring a behavior chart, And it was like just writing everywhere. And I'm like, think about that parent opening that folder every day and just cringing because everything's written. And so it's easier, a little bit of a code. Of course, it's like that note going home is perfect because the parents not, I mean, they start getting it every single day. They might start cringing at it, but it's not as like harsh as you like. And a lot of times when we're agitated with the kid, you're writing, you're like, so just maybe like have a code at the bottom, like
Easy check off too.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the person I kind of got the idea from had a dragon at the top. Clip art. I took the dragon off, another teacher didn't, and a parent didn't like the dragon. So
I don't
anyway,
think
yeah, no, I took the dragon off. I don't have a happy face. I don't know, but I mean, it's, you know, my kids have people.
How,
Well, and
how
then,
we did, or how was your day? So I can put where they did great, you know, they did great here, and this is the reason why the sad note is in your child's school. It's because of this, they had a hard time
Right.
with this part of the day.
when you
So
talk
you
to,
can still celebrate the parts that you did.
I always learned, because before here, I had preschool experience at a daycare, and I was, like in the office, I was the assistant director, so anytime it went from the teacher, it then went to the office. And if my director wasn't there, it came to me. And so I always learned, I always remembered when I talk to the parent, it's an Oreo. So I tell them, I'm gonna eat the cookie first. I'm gonna tell them something good. They're the cutest things ever. Then I'm gonna lick the Oreo and I'm gonna tell them the bad. And then I'm gonna eat the cracker and I'm gonna tell them the good. And that's kind of how I try to talk to my parents, especially when it starts, if it needs to go into something else, just because, you know, like, we are adults. We all make bad choices. I mean, I probably made 6 today, but I might have made 1 good one. And so if someone tells me that I've made all these bad choices, I want them to know my good choice. So, I mean, we're human. And I mean, that's how they need to be treated too. And I do have kids that have gone home on yellow already this year. When they come in the next day, I'm like, today's going to be a better day. Like, start over, homie. And they do, you know, and so it's just how you work. It's just how you roll, you know. Any questions? No?
did on individual kids that really needed to break up the day, I did it by like big blocks and then like the smiley or the whatever. And so the parents could see, okay, this is where, you know, great, ooh,
Yeah.
here. And so if you ever need anything like that, I have one of the people who does where it breaks up. You just basically put your schedule in, and then a little side, you have notes, like maybe today was a little tough because, you know, but here we did great. And then at the end, I say, as long as you have more happy than you have sad or straight faces, it was a great day. We're looking for more happy than sad, because there are some sad times in our day. And so that was a good visual for our friend's book that was about that, you know, but so.
Well, and also you might realize, because you get caught up in that moment with that kid, where, I mean, I've had kids destroy the room, destroy us. I mean, we're walking out of there looking like World War III. But you look at the chart and it was literally an hour of the day. So 99% of the day, it was a good day. And so you have to kind of look back and go, okay, we had a good day. Didn't feel like it for a part of it, but it kind of puts everything back into perspective.
It gives you a pattern of where the worst part of the day is.
Yeah, and just, I mean, there could be years, just like Ashton said, that your class is going to change. So you might have a classroom management system already going on right now. Use it. Be confident in it. Let it roll. If next year you want to change some stuff up, change some stuff up. I mean, there is so much support on this campus that if you come to anybody, nobody will turn you down. I mean, I've gone to Gillum Water. I've been like, I don't know what to do, you know, and she'll just be like, okay, and talk me through it. Let's work on this, you know, or I'll go to my pod mates, or I'll go anyone, you know, and they're all willing to help. So don't hesitate to ask questions, especially about classroom management, because if you ain't got that, you got to get it now,
Yeah.
or you won't run your classroom. So if no questions on that, we'll go to subfolders. If you do not have a subfolder already together, you need to. Just because, not just for your sake, but your podmate's sake too. Something crazy can happen and you might not be able to get up here, so that has to be ready. I was just going to show you mine and then I can share it out, but I'm just going to kind of talk through it. This is behind my desk at all times. So it's a bucket and it's behind my desk, and my pod knows where it is. everyone in my pod knows exactly where it is, so that if I call and I'm not here, they can go get the sub bucket. And a part of the sub bucket, it will explain my entire day, but also I plan by my buckets. My buckets back there are Monday through Friday. Everything for the entire week is in those buckets. So if I call in on a Monday morning, that sub will be successful with what she needs to do. So just know that if you don't already have some kind of organization of how that day is going to roll out, you need to have that. You need to have folders. You need to have something that kind of tells you, like, this is my day, or this is how you get to where it is in here. Some people might not have buckets or laid out, but it'll say it more in detail through here. But if I'm out, my pod can literally come and grab this and grab my bucket, and that sub should be fine. Just turn on the TV and unlock the door. So inside I have a subfolder, and this was given, like I made this when I was new. So inside of it, I have tabs, but on here I have stickers so that she can reward throughout the day, or if she needs it for whatever reason. And then our daily lunch count, y'all should have these. This is just so that they can take lunch that day. And then within my thing, I have note cards. I'm not really sure what those are for, but they're there, and a pen. And then I have a table of contents, which I have this entire file if you want it, or Ashton does too. And then within the tabs, here's my directions. This is a blanket of what my day consists of. Like it's gonna tell me like when you pick them up in the cafeteria, and then basically our day, and then not like it'll say as detailed as when you walk in, you're gonna check their folders. At this time, you need to be checking for transportation. You know, things that we do that we don't think about that is so important, you know, for a sub that doesn't have a clue who any of these kids are. Mark attendance sheet, which would be like Juana would give that to her. So you wouldn't have to worry about that. And so morning buckets, and then like BLC, it'll say like Mondays and Wednesdays, like kind of like what your schedule would look like, but just a more breakout session of it. I also at the very front give her 2 kids that could basically run my classroom. So that's always helpful too. And 2 trustworthy kids. Oh, I do know what this is for. Okay, so this is for if you have a child that might struggle or has hard days or changes are different, or just to be on the lookout. That's what it was. That's what it was for. So that, you know, that they already know, like, it's okay, like, he's gonna, you know, or, what was it? How did we explain that, Ashton? What was that like?
With our note card,
Yeah.
it was just kind of a heads up, kind of, this is what you're going to need to address, and it's like the big, like,
Yeah.
flash alert.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, if you're gonna have one that, you know, gets like, you know, it could be, you're going to,
Like Sam has a problem with a schedule change, and that day it happens to be junior high pep rally.
yeah,
Congratulations, you get to go, but this child is gonna need a little special love and care.
like, it's gonna be your best friend. It's just gonna say like, Sam, dash schedule change, or changes. You know, just be prepared for that, just so it doesn't catch her off guard, and she can be proactive and be ready for it. So I add that. Make sure you have your restroom breaks in there. That's important. Special snacks before you go home, and like what she needs to do, like how to do folders. And then I always put, you know, so-and-so can do it with you. And that's another child. And so like this year, I've already trained 2 kids. Like they know how to do folders by themselves. I would not necessarily let them. I mean, they're sweet kids, but just in case. And then I have a tab for class list. That's all of my kids. This is the same one I use for my data binder. It just doesn't have like, if they're ESL or anything like that, it doesn't have the counts down here. So I just took it off and sent that. Dismissal instructions. That way that they know how they go home and they're prepared for it. I also have one posted by my door, but just in case. Schedules, like this is my schedule if she needs to look at it, and then leave me a note. How did the day go? Let me know what
I also, at the very front of it, kind of give her a little list of my classroom management and how it works and tell her not to be scared that she can do today. And that's what I include in here. I also have, okay, so I have Flat Burley. She stays in here too. When the stuff comes, she does all the things. I also have just a huge amount of worksheets. So when you have worksheets that are given to you and you're not using them, put them in here. I don't like to leave a lot of them for the stuff, but realistically, sometimes it's needed. I mean, just for her comfort or to kill time or
classroom control.
Bingo, I
anything.
always leave bingo.
So that's a good
Great.
one.
I
That's a good
have a
one.
box of bingo in there.
Bingo's always.
That's good.
Always bingo.
So basically, just having that, yeah, good helpers. Yeah, there it was. Other.
Can I add something about your
Yes.
your instructions? So, a while back we came up with these binders, and it wasn't because we wanted to do something that was so super elaborate and ridiculous and like tons of work. What we did, the point of them is we wanted to make it the day as easy as possible for that stuff. Because when they're already coming in and taking care of 22 of your children that they don't know on their own, well, for kindergarten. And so the point was to do that. Now with these plans, whenever she's talking about going through the instructions on the schedule through the day, it's a good little piece, but I mean, it's generic, but it still covers that whole time frame for that subject. And with that, I mean, that sub, you can't expect them to teach exactly like you, and your students will learn that. But if you can give them as many pointers as they can, like as you can, then it makes their day just that much easier, and they can feel a little less frazzled by the end of the day.
Well, in pre-K Head Start, y'all have aides, so
Yes.
y'all are at a benefit. I mean, your aide will know your class.
I always tell, like the subs, my aides run the room.
Yes.
You're there to back them up, like, because our subs can't change backwards, so our aides take over everything.
Every once in a while, if you have a brand new aide that's just never done it, you have a really experienced sub that's been in the room, in the pre-K or Head Start classrooms a lot, we kind of flip-flop. I mean, it just depends.
All right,
It
it's
just
usually
separates.
our teacher.
Yeah.
But like,
I'm
I'm
gonna have a
y'all
brand
that
new
editable
one.
stuff,
She's
not
not
done, you know.
I don't remember.
It was
Did you read it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll check.
So basically that, a lot too, like, I know me as personal, like, I know last year for a fact, I called in one time, and I know I came up here at 5 a.m. because that stresses me out. I also have control issues, so that stresses me out. And so I wanted to be up here, and I wanted to make sure that my kids were not going to suffer all day long. So every day, I mean, my buckets are laid out for the entire week. If something happened and whatever, they would have what they need to do all week long. So that's a lot of it. It's just be prepared. Yeah, just be prepared, you know, have everything ready, have it laid out. I will tell you that if I'm out, if I know I'm going to be out, like next Wednesday, I'm going to have a sub. So I know that ahead of time. So my lesson plans are going to look different. They're going to be more detailed for that exact day of what's going on so that she doesn't have to read through this, but I'm still going to have my bucket out for extra worksheets if she needs it. But it would be more detailed to the day, like you are going here, you are doing this, you know. I want you to leave Saxon. I'm going to highlight what I want you to say because it's taught verbatim. So things like that, you know, just making sure if you're ahead of time, you don't really have to use a big ordeal. So that's pretty much it.
And the key thing is that your people who work around you, they're your key people. I mean, yes, Burley could probably come in my room and set anything up for me because she knows how I am and how I do things. But, you know, naturally it would probably be like Hadley, who's across the hall from me, would be like, okay, let me go get everything ready. But just being prepared, it makes it easier. And it's, I mean, and even if you do just have a bucket of extra papers, at least your teacher partner isn't having to go search for something to do. That is the biggest stress because they're also getting ready for their day if it's an emergency.
And I
And
think
if you're
that
that
prepared, it also makes your day that
Exactly.
much better. Right.
got that
We've
preparation.
had
in place.
situations where subs are calling the office going like, there's absolutely nothing done.
Yeah, they don't
And
know.
that
where to go.
is so frustrating. We've had situations where a pod mate will, come in and save your day the first time, but by the second time when they're having to do it, they may do it, but they're gonna let us know in the office. So, I mean, I cannot stress it enough to make sure that you have, I always thought those like my generic plans for those times that I never knew. And I would have my detailed plans for when I knew. I mean, can't stress that enough to make sure that you're prepared. And if that's not something that you already have, like I would get on that ASAP, especially with this tummy bug.
I have a lesson plan on my computer that's like that. It's the whole schedule, everything we do, and there's blanks for like my stations. And then so all I've got to do is print that sucker off. And then there's this read big book, and then there's a line. All I do is write those calendar, the wow words. I write it in real quick, and that template is already, and it's about 5 pages long, but it's from 8 with everything that you do from when to pass out the tickets to the end of the day, and then all I've got to do is really quick, and I can even email it to somebody because I have it at home too. So that helps.
So if you know the day that you're gonna be out and you need help, getting your day ready or whatever, cause I mean, I'll leave it out, I leave stickies, I label it, this is your 8:30 to 9 o'clock. But I was taught that way from my mentor, so it's just kind of how it's happened, and then it's just easy to follow along, and it makes me make sure that I have everything prepared. So if you need help, go to your mentor teacher, that's why they're here, go to them and say, I need help doing this, and they'll help you. Or anybody, you can come to anybody.
I will say, if you have allergies or medical conditions,
Yes.
make it like, this is the second page in mine. And it's my roster, but then I've highlighted and let them know. And of course, my aides know who the kids are, but I was out one Friday with the stomach bug. I had an aide go home during the day with the stomach bug. So that left us with one aide. If she was dealing with something, the sub needed to know. Also, if you have special ed, make sure your accommodations are in there so that they can see what the kids need. And then if you have a health issue student, you'll have an action plan from the nurse.
That's Kinsey accommodations.
They're gonna have to implement them.
Well, they should be on your lesson plan.
Yeah.
By
By
first and
initials.
last name. Yeah, that was
See,
my
these are, I have them by number, which in my roster, you see the number.
I didn't know we could put those in there. I just figured that was
And you can just do accommodation, like most of my kids don't have listed accommodations yet because my room's modified. And so on my front, it just has frequent breaks, and kind of gives you an idea of what it is. Visual cues prompts.
It's not the actual
Well, I
document.
have it in there
though,
too.
from
I have those in there. But this is just, because a lot of mine don't have written in modifications.
I put the fire drill stuff in there.
Yeah.
Do you need that in there? Is that, where they know to go to the safety, the fire drill, and then like that emergency thing? I have that kind of.
I think it's in
I
here at the
did.
very front. I just didn't read it to you. I think it says fire drill, you'll exit these doors and go, I think it's in
Whenever
here.
safety was a big issue, I typed up a document, like, I don't know, a few different things, lockdown, fire drill, et cetera. And it was like just mainly the instructions of what you need to do. Make sure you take this, make sure you do this, make sure you connect with this person. Because they're always posted, but I always keep a copy in your binder. Because I tell them, if you go somewhere, take your binder, or like, take it, carry it, it's portable, so that they know.
Any questions on subfolder, sub-bucket, subfolder, any of that?
And if there's anything you want from us, I have files. I'm sure you have files.
I think part of my
Burley.
files that you shared.
I'm pretty sure.
I will say on the dismissal thing, I had, like, you had yours listed, like, by person. I have the picture of the child by it. Because they're, again, not gonna know the kid's name, and the kid can answer, okay, yeah, that's my name, sure, going on that bus. And of course, yeah. So, yeah, I have their picture and then how they get home. And of course, if they get a note, but they still will be able to see, this is this kid. Because they won't know.
Make sure you also include what they need to do with your emergency bag, that they, as the adult, need to carry it, and kind of how that works as well. Because I was like, I don't know what to do with this. And hopefully, there's a training coming up, hopefully we're about to have a lot of new stuff, because we need stuff. So, be aware that there may be people that or unfamiliar faces coming in.
Okay, so real quick, lesson plans. First off, lesson plans, make sure that at the top or whatever you're listing for any accommodations that you have, like Christell Burley would be CB visual schedule. Like those kinds of things. Make sure that you have it listed at top if you need help creating that extra whatever box. Let us know and we can put it up, or we can help you put it up there. You should be kind of getting with your podmate and planning for lesson plans and making sure that those are ready. When you've done your lesson plans and you've printed them out, you have to print them out after you've made them. And then they go in a folder. You can get these in the office if you don't have any. We have a lot. So they go in here and they go in here so that if Bowers, Lamb, Morley come in to like see your room, they can literally pull it up and go to what they're supposed to be seeing and see it. So they have to be printed in your room. I put close paper clips on the weeks that's already passed, so that if they want to come in, they can just pull and see and find where
We like to open it and see the current week.
you want to, yeah, it wants to go, like, this is the first week of school down here, and then this is the most current. So literally, I just print it, and I put it in here, and I'm done. And I close paper clip the previous week. And I sit it right there for them if they need it. That's also how I plan my buckets. I'll make my lesson plans, I use it, I go make my buckets, and I'm done. Hopefully, usually.
On the accommodations on mine, it says accommodations, and then I have like a code 1 through 10. If you know your child only has like 3 accommodations, 1 through 3, which all of mine have them. So then in each section, like greeting time, I'll have a code of like, all my kids are numbered. Like their cubby has a number and a color. Their out in the hallway has a number and color. So it says like 1 and then what accommodations. And so I just use codes throughout the whole lesson plan.
Anybody else want to share anything with lesson plans? No? Questions? Okay. Fire drill. Make sure, I think we did really, really good on it. But make sure that you are shutting your door. So lock off, shut your door when you're leaving your classroom. And then what else did we want to say about fire drill besides shutting the door?
Shutting the door, make sure you join your
Get
class.
to your class.
Yeah.
I mean, like when we had the fire drill yesterday.
Yes, it was yesterday.
Yeah, I was in conference, so I was literally in here like with Gabby, and the fire alarm went off, and my kids were with kids. So we slammed doors and ran, and we made it, thankfully. But you have to think, like, when Coach Kidd has them, he usually has 2 classes. Like, that is a lot of kids to get out one door. So you get to your kids, even if they're at BLCs, even if they're, at specials. Go to your kids, run to them. Granted, if it's a real fire and there is a fire right there, you won't be able to get to them.
Exit the building and go around the building
And
to get to
find
your
them.
children. Please don't go through a fire to get to them.
So, and those doors normally shut. So wherever y'all are, like the big fire doors that are in the hallway, those will normally shut on a real one.
And they
So,
like, I
we
know
won't be able
sometimes
to
they
get through.
close, you're gonna run. They close, sometimes you can like pop them right back. But like in the event of a true fire, they're gonna shut and you will not be able to move.
Yeah.
So, then you would
Have an extra kid with you that comes for pull out, or you have one that goes to speech or pull out, you still hold.
Yes. And they did, yeah, it was great yesterday.
They hold the help card
We
up.
had lots of kiddos that weren't.
If you have an extra or if one's missing.
Yes, if you,
To help.
not if they're what I work in my
Right.
brain, because I'm just like, I need to focus. I know in the mornings when I write down my count of how many kids are there, when that fire drill happens, I know 19. If I do not have 19, I'm holding up my red card and then I'm numbering them. Because my kids go by numbers. So I know you're number one, you're number two. And so I'm numbering to see who I'm missing if I don't already know it. Like if they're not with a Gensel or they're not in the nurse's office, or if I have one of Gabby's kids or Higgins' kids, that's an extra kid that is not mine.
Well, and
I was just saying, that's also why in your safety folder, you have that little roster thing that, by the way, if you haven't turned yours in yet, turn it in from yesterday. I only have one.
We do that for.
I thought it was just tornado.
Every
So wait, what do we need to turn in?
It's that roster. It's the class roster that I gave you, the hard copy. I said, what, make a class list and make several copies. So that's how, like, you should have that out. You make sure you have all those kids. You know, in the heat of the moment, you might be like, okay, who?
And so then any drill we need to turn,
So they'll already be pre-printed, so you can easily see who's missing.
and whenever there's a drill, we're turning that in.
Yeah.
Do you need a blank one?
I've made copies.
I'm pretty sure I have one, I just didn't know to turn it in.
Always have no, I have one in my office, have you?
And we just stick it in your.
Anyone else stopped you there?
Yeah, I got some turned in.
Well, I don't know who they are.
So if it-
They're over at teachers.
So if a kid's absent, if a kid's absent, are we supposed to mark that on the roster too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was gonna say, whenever you're going out, the extra kid thing, if you see two kids who are delivering someone in the hallway, take them with you. Don't say, hurry up and get to your class. Don't do that. Take them with you. Just say, come on, you come
If
with
you're
me.
going into lockdown, check the hallway.
You're
Don't close the
turning that
door.
lock off, you grab any kids that are out there.
It doesn't matter who they belong to, just get them.
They're all ours.
Put a sticky over your toilet.
Mine's
Lockdown,
have
or
a
a
piece of
sticky.
tape or something.
I keep it sticky up high and I just pull it down because the one next door for, Shaylee next year, it flushed every time the kids barely moved, over and over and over and over.
I just have mine taped over.
I literally have a
I
toilet
have
right
a
now.
toilet.
Stuff
They have
tape
to
hanging
push
in
it
the bathroom.
I got it.
Yeah. So,
And mine
and
don't
make
want
sure
to
you're
be
getting,
mine-
you're
Yeah.
getting with your mentor teacher and having your backpack prepared. That's an important part, which I think we've already kind of gone over that in the safety meeting. So just make sure that it's there because you don't want to be stuck in a lockdown drill in that bathroom with 20 kids and nothing to offer. You want to have snacks. I mean, I want to have snacks all the time. You want to have drink, like you want to be prepared. A book, your phone,
Phone or
I mean-
iPad and turn it on silent.
turn it on silent. Yeah, if it's a lockdown, just that and you know. And like those cards, I've never used those cards before. They helped. You know, this year I had one for a fire drill. He was so scared he wanted me to go back in and get his backpack. So I mean, like I had to give him the cards and he looked at it and he was like, he showed me the one that said you'll be able to go back in the building. He was like, time. I was like, sure, fine, let's go. You know, so they get it. But just be prepared for that. You don't want to get stuck and not be prepared. Safety is number
94
one.
hours.
Yeah.
And joining your
Lockdown.
class, like for any fire,
Anything.
tornado, lockdown, like obviously, like we said about the fire, if there's fire, then, you know, if you hear a shooter, don't just, you know, put yourself right out there as like, you know, a target. You know, use your judgment. I would rather you go, you know what, it's not safe for me to get out and get my kids and you lock down in your room by yourself, then you jeopardize your safety trying to get from, you know, way over here to the jail when the shooter's in between here and the jail. So, you know, use your judgment. Definitely though for drills, if you know it's a drill, join them. We will have some lockdowns that you may not know, just because we want to practice.
And just go to the closest door that you can get in and put yourself in.
Yes.
Don't go to your room.
No, if
If
you're
you're
out
up
in the playground and we call a lockdown, you may, every one of you be piled up in one classroom. 'cause it's
We may all be in
classroom.
Burley's room.
You know, but I'd rather you all be in one place together than, you know, running down the
So
hallway.
you want us to come inside and not hide? I know my previous school, they wanted us to.
No, you're gonna get inside as quickly as possible. Now, again, use good judgment. If
Right.
you hear a machine gun blowing up right inside the door that you're gonna come in, you're gonna wanna,
Like if I could see it, then, you know, that big concrete, I would put like old school. You know, I put my kids up against the concrete with their back sitting.
Yep.
So that if he did see something, it'd be toast. You know, maybe.
have them all
But if
in the
there's
tube
something
slide or
here,
something,
you know, I mean, figure it out. Like use good judgment on that. But you know, the point of the drill too is to practice. So, you know, practice coming into the room super fast, getting in the back.
And we
getting
practice
prepared.
just as if it was a real one. Like, we're not gonna come to the speaker and say, okay, can we come out now? And it's just a practice. Because we don't want you to be trained to listen to that. Because somebody may be, you know, forcing us to make that announcement. We don't want that. So we will physically, with a police officer, come to your door, unlock your door, and let you know. if
Do
they
not
come.
open it.
Do not open it.
Even if
Do
they
not-
knock on the door and
Yes.
say,
It's
it's
the
the police.
Because we will try to trick you and say, okay, like, it's this way, I'm going out. And I do not want you to open it.
Make sure you're by the door and not a kid.
Funniest thing, the first time that we did this, I went to a classroom and it was Miss Pinto and Tuna. And they were connected at the time. And they were in the bathroom and y'all, they were like, when we unlocked it, they were holding it, like trying to not let us in. I was like, okay, like, we, you know, like we're telling you to let. But it was funny. They were like, no, we're gonna protect these kids.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, it's funny now, but I'm like, you know what? It was a real situation. I appreciate that.
Any other questions or anything? Okay, the next time we meet, we're just gonna do it by quarter. So we'll meet again quarter two, kind of like this, and just go over some certain things. Start thinking if you have questions. Like I said, if you see anything, want anything, email. I'm telling you, the support on this campus is amazing, and everyone's willing to help. We might look like a disaster, but we'll help, you know. If y'all have any questions, that's it. Thanks for coming.
I feel terrible now. I didn't go finish